Welcome to the Karen Kenney Show. Hey, you guys, welcome to the Karen Kenney Show. Today is actually Thanksgiving 2025. I don't really expect anybody to be listening to this sucker on Thanksgiving morning, but if you are, thank you so much for being here. And before I dive into the show for real, I just want to say how grateful I am for you, for being one of my listeners, for, first of all, for you being you, for you showing up, for you pressing play again and again and again, and for reminding me that we are all just trying to figure this whole being human stuff. This whole being human experience, all this shit, we're just trying to figure it out together. So like whether you listen in your car, whether you listen when you take your pups for a walk, when you're doing laundry, when you're working out, like what you're doing shit around the house, like however you are here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, seriously, for being here and for being a part of my little podcast family and community. I really, really, really appreciate you so much. Okay, now today's episode, you might have already seen the title. I'm just going to dive right into this whole thing, right? I call it the 4 A's of gratitude. Now, if you've ever been in one of my programs like The Nest, or you've worked with me one-to-one in the Quest, I always love to framework like things in a really simple way. I have a bunch of other things like the big 3 and the 4 A's of lasting change. Like I really love to simplify things because that's how my brain learns as well. So hopefully you're going to find this helpful too. And I made myself a bunch of notes. So I wouldn't, my squirrely little brain wouldn't forget. Okay. Number 1, when we talk about gratitude, I think it's wicked easy to like roll our eyes and to think of this as being some super duper like fluffy or performative or mundane morning practice, right? Like so many people in the past, however many years, as quote unquote morning practices, although morning practices have been around in the spiritual community like forever, right? But a lot of people are like biohacking their way into being their best selves. You know what I mean? So it's really easy to start to think about gratitude as being just something you have to do. You got to check off the list or whatever. And that's not what this is about. Gratitude to me is not fluffy, it's not performative, and it's not some mundane morning practice. Gratitude actually has more power and impact than we might think. And there's even scientific evidence, you guys, to show that gratitude isn't like as I say, fluffy and fairy-like and feels kind of like this fantasy thing. When we practice gratitude consistently, it actually changes us. It changes how our brain works. It changes how we perceive the world, ourselves, and each other. It also changes how we go about showing up in life, how we go about living it, and how we are being in the world. It's a very powerful practice. So I'm just going to break down what I find really helpful and what I do, and maybe it'll help you too. So I know that when I first started thinking about gratitude, I did. It was almost like this, like, oh, gratitude. I'm so great. You know, it can feel just kind of like a little, I'm talking like a long, long time ago, right? When I had a little bit of an attitude problem. Oh, little masshole me. Okay, but here's how I think about it now, especially as a wicked long time Course in Miracles student, right? So I like to do what I call number 1, step 1, awareness, right? This awareness. We have to be actively looking for what A Course in Miracles calls the good, the beautiful, and the holy. So when we're looking for the good, the beautiful, and the holy, we have to remember first and foremost that our brain is wired. It is designed to always, you've heard me talk about this on other episodes, that the brain is designed to be looking for all the time dangers and threats and stuff like that. Which of course was helpful back in the day when we lived in caves and there were like ginormous creatures roaming around our backyards looking for a tasty snack. You know what I mean? They were like, human, little snack, bite-sized snack, right? Back then, we wanted to be aware of the dangers and the threats that existed. Unfortunately, not that much time has passed. Our brain hasn't really evolved and caught up, right? So it's not always helpful for us and our nervous systems to be walking around in fear and scanning our environment all the time for problems and jacking up our nervous system with stress hormones. Like that's not that helpful for us. So what we want to be able to do now is to consciously, purposefully shift our focus to, yes, of course, the nervous system is always going to be asking its number one question, am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? It's going to kind of naturally do that anyways, but we also can make a proactive choice to choose to not just be scanning all the time for things that we're afraid of, for fear. I'm always like, we got to be looking for the love as well, right? We can help shift our mind from a thought system of fear to one of love. This is one of the things that all of Course in Miracles is all about. So one of the ways that we can do that is we have to learn, as I so like just honestly say, we just got to learn to slow the fuck down. Like you just got to slow down a little bit. We got to learn how to hit pause, and we have to deliberately start to pay attention. We are such a distracted society. Like let's just leave it there. We all know this. We are such a distracted society by the devices and the phones and the dings and the pings and the notifications and like I mean, back in the day, advertising was like in magazines and on a billboard and TV. Now it is a constant fight for our attention. And they're winning, you know what I mean? So we have to deliberately choose where we want to place our attention. We want to be able to shift our focus to actively seek and find, to find and discover the good, the beautiful, and the holy that's all around us. Now, you might suck at this at first, right? I made a note to mention this. You might suck at this at first. You might not be able to find or see the good stuff. So we want to practice. I always say, start with the smallest thing. Start with the smallest things. And one of the great ways to do this, and this is also a great way to how to shift out of anxiety, right, is to really use your senses and start to notice what you notice right now. What is something right now that you can notice that might be pleasing to you or pleasant or helpful, right? It might be a subtle smell. It might be a soothing sound. Maybe it's the birds chirping, right? When the birds are singing, not like screaming at each other. When the birds are truly doing bird song and singing, it allows our nervous system to relax because birds only sing when there's not danger, right? When there's not a predator looking to eat them. So even like the smallest little sound, it might be a little kid giggling or laughing. It might be, your dog like making like little snory sounds as they sleep next to you, right? It might be the soft feel of something. One of the things that I always notice is the texture of materials, the feel of materials. There's certain clothes that I just cannot wear. And you'll see right behind me, it's there it's there on purpose because I put it there, but not for this purpose. But if you look back there, there's a blanket behind me. That's called a minky. And that kind of blanket is one of the softest blankets I've ever felt in my life. And I have a bunch of them because my nervous system really loves the feel of really soft things. Maybe it's something that you see that makes you smile, right? Maybe it's a little bit of a sweet taste of something, or if you prefer, a salty taste of something. But get in the habit of really starting to pay attention. Start to notice your environment. Look actively for the things that are pleasing and soothing and make your heart expand and drop you into your body somatically in a helpful way. Look for the good, the beautiful, and the holy in your environment. And just by doing that, if you're actively looking, it's going to force you to slow down. It's going to force you to pay attention. And paying attention is one of the greatest ways that we show love. To be present is to give somebody else and yourself a present, right? The precious present. There was a whole book called that. To be present, to give somebody your presence is like such a gift. And again, it's one of the ways that we show love. We're saying you matter enough that I'm going to be here. I'm going to take my phone and put it over there. I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to look you in the eye. I'm going to be with you now. Like be here now, as Ram Dass says. Okay, that's step number one of how to practice to not only practice gratitude, but reap the benefits of practicing gratitude. Number two, acknowledgement. I call this you didn't do it alone. You didn't get here all by yourself, kid. You know what I mean? You are not an island unto yourself. So in America, and especially Americans, right? But I don't know what's going on. If you're watching this, Zoom just started doing a thing. Oh yeah, they keep adjusting where my camera is. I gotta find that feature and shut it off. Okay, and we're back. So Americans love to go all in on like the rugged and individualistic story, like that we gotta pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Like I did it, my own American hero. It's me. And yes, while we do have to be the hero of our own stories, none of us got here by ourselves. None of us got here without a little leg up, a little help from somebody else. And if we're really, really, really being honest with ourselves, we can admit that. We can allow our ego to take a little bit of a back seat. And I think what's really interesting is nowadays, especially if you're an entrepreneur or a writer or a speaker or somebody with a podcast, whatever, right? You got to have like this origin story, and everybody wants this like comeback kid, which me too. Like, I love a great comeback kid story. I love a great underdog story. I love when people talk about like how, this happened, but then I did X, Y, and Z. And it's like, it's the great hero's journey, right? We see it in all the great movies from Star Wars to Rocky to whatever. We all love that. But even all those characters, Luke had, Yoda in the Force. Rocky had Mick in his corner, right? He had training partners. He had help. We've all had help along the way. And if your brain or your memory tries to, if your brain or your memory tries to convince you that nobody in your family, at school, or in your community, etc., directly helped you, right? If you just can't, if you're just sitting there in your story like, nobody helped me, I did it all on my own. I'm going to invite you now to get even more micro, right? I want you to just start to acknowledge on even the tiniest scale. If you can't go big, if you really have convinced yourself that it's been you and only you, like, let's go even more micro. Think about the people who like sewed and made your clothes. Think about the people who planted and picked your food. Think about the people who drove the bus you were on, or stocked the shelves at the grocery store where you get your food. Or, maybe right now you're going through a tough time and you're getting your food at a food kitchen or a local shelter or something. Think about those people, right? And sometimes we resist this because it requires a certain level of humility. It requires us and our ego to kind of like dial it down a little bit and acknowledge that it hasn't always been the us show, right? I always laugh, like the Karen Kenney Show. It hasn't always been the Karen Kenney Show. I have had plenty of helpers along the way, and I delight in acknowledging them. I delight. I don't always maybe do it publicly, right? I might do it behind the scenes or send a note or acknowledge them when I see them in person. But I think it's something beautiful and very, very healing when we acknowledge that we've had helpers along the way. Now, maybe those people, right, have been behind the scenes. And this is how I kind of say it. This requires a certain level of humility to acknowledge that there have always been helpers, sometimes seen and unseen, known and unknown, because maybe they were behind the scenes or invisible to you, but it doesn't mean that they haven't been there. It doesn't mean that they haven't been there. And I was thinking about Mr. Rogers. Of course I was, because I think about him all the time. But in 1999, Mr. Rogers was inducted into and I've told this story before, but he was inducted into the Television Hall of Fame. And in 1981, I think it was, he had on his show a young man, he was a little boy at the time, Jeffrey Erlinger, and he was in a wheelchair. You might remember this episode, and it was a beautiful episode. And I remember when, as a surprise for his induction into the Hall of Fame, Jeff Erlinger came rolling out onto stage, and you can literally see Mr. Rogers' face. I get emotional every time I watch the video, and you can literally see Mr. Rogers mouthing. I think what he's mouthing is, "Oh my God." And he gets right up out of his seat. He doesn't even use the stairs. Like, he steps right up onto the stage. He hops up with such enthusiasm and such joy to see this person who was like, he's like totally acknowledging him and the role that he played on his show, right? So even that, but that's not so he does acknowledge this being, this beautiful being, who is a part of the great history of, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. But then he goes on during his speech to ask the audience a series of questions, and he asked them to meditate on this thing. And I'm going to share this with you too. This is a big part of acknowledgement. So Mr. Rogers says to them, I quote, Who has helped you love the good that grows within you? Who loved you and wanted what was best for you in life? Who has encouraged you to become who you are today? I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but this is the essence of what he says. Who has helped you love the good that grows within you? What an incredible question. I want you guys at home to like ponder this as well. Who loved you and wanted what was best for you in life? And who has encouraged you to become who you are today? This is incredible stuff when you're trying to practice gratitude, to start to think about these beings. It's so helpful. It's so healing to acknowledge that you've had friends or family or helpers or support all along the way. You know, in A Course in Miracles, there's a beautiful line that says, if you knew who walks beside you on this way that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. If we just knew who walked beside us. And this is the whole concept of a spiritual team, right? I talk about this all the time, STOTJ, spiritual team. In fact, if you go to my website, KarenKenney.com, at the top, there's a little freebie if you want to learn about how to build your own spiritual team, to figure it out, right? Who's on your team, so that you are more consciously aware of the seen and unseen helpers, of the human and divine angels, the helpers who walk along beside you, the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, your internal teacher, right, that is always with you. So it's so helpful and healing to acknowledge that you've had these people, that you're connected not only to other humans, you guys, but also to our animal friends. Sometimes our animals are the first ones that showed us that we were seen. They were the first ones to really acknowledge us and love us in a safe way. I'm going to do a whole episode about that. But we're not only connected to other humans, when we start to acknowledge kind of like this web of life, this interconnectedness of our species, of Mother Nature and humans and all of it, the universe, we start to realize that we're a part of something much larger. And whether you happen to call these larger things God or Mother Nature or universe or source or love or divine intelligence or higher self or higher power, it doesn't matter. We all have spiritual teams, I believe. We have all had helpers. And to acknowledge that is a huge benefit of gratitude. Okay, number 3, this is the appreciation part. When we have an appreciation, when we're practicing gratitude, this step is about getting out of your head and dropping down into your heart, dropping down into your body, into your lived and felt experience, right? So it's one thing to have an appreciative thought. We're wicked good, most of us, of going out of the body and getting up into the head and intellectualizing other things. You know, we love to like think. We're thinkers. We love to think and problem solve. And again, oh yeah, I'm going to think about something I'm grateful for. And then you can just regurgitate it and say it, but you don't actually feel it. And it's one thing to intellectualize gratitude. It's a whole other kit and caboodle to drop down into your body and really let you and your nervous system feel it, to really feel it. And this can be one of the hardest parts for people to practice, is getting out of their head and down into their body, to shifting from that intellectualizing stuff that we love to do, right? It's kind of like, well, I should feel grateful for this, right? It's moving out of that kind of feeling and getting down into the marrow, like really getting down into the heartbeat of this, so that you and your nervous system can have an appreciation, truly feel an appreciation, and to feel gratitude. And at the very end of this episode, stay tuned, because I'm going to do a little like gratitude meditation. I was going to do it here, but I don't want to interrupt the flow of information. I want to allow your brain to shift gears. So stay tuned for that. Okay. So Rick Hansen, super duper smarty pants, he says, you practice an emotional state until it becomes a neural trait. So you practice thinking something, saying something, feeling something with enough feeling, with enough emotion, enough times, it starts to hardwire in your brain. You practice an emotional state until it becomes a neural trait. Well, not all of us have been practicing how to feel gratitude. So what we want to do is to start to get our brain, our body, and our heart kind of like into coherence. And some of us call this, if you're a practitioner or student of heart math, which I am, we call this heart coherence, right? And so what we want to do, like, this isn't like fake it until you make it. This isn't like, I'm just going to fake that I'm feeling this. It's like, no, What I want you to do is do your best to actually try to conjure up, right? And I'll just give you this piece for now. Conjure up and feel gratitude and appreciation for someone or something or an experience, a human, an animal, or whatever. And it's also important that I say, like, I get it. Like, I get it. Sometimes people be peopling and life be lifing, and it is fucking hard. It is so hard to be human sometimes. And it can feel like it's all coming at you and it's all falling apart and you're totally in it. And your brain just cannot see past the fog, and it will try to tell you that there is nothing to be grateful for. And it is lying. It is lying to you. Do not believe everything you think. So, this part is often really hard for people, not just the going into the body, like really allowing yourself to feel gratitude. Again, it's one thing to think it, it's another thing to, I'm hitting my body, right? It's another thing to actually feel it. And this part is difficult for people because it actually means we have to be vulnerable. We have to practice being vulnerable. And so the short thing is, and I'll do the meditation later, but the short direction is think upon someone or something. It could be a human friend, somebody you love, one of your kids, your sweetie, whatever. It could be an animal. It could be a memory. It could be a space or a place or a time when you really felt happy or joyful or safe or seen or celebrated or at peace or at ease. Just like something that when you think of this person or this animal or this place, like you truly feel grateful in your heart. Like, and I want you to like try to remember it in your body, drop into it and engage with it and let yourself truly feel it. Like feel the impact that that person or that animal or that time or that moment had. Okay, that's the appreciation, step number 3. So step number 1 has been awareness. Look for the good, the beautiful, and the holy. Number 2 is acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you didn't get here all by yourself. You've had some helpers. Number 3, appreciation. We got to get out of our head, drop down into our heart and down into our body. And then number 4 is the action. We got to do something about it. This is the express it and share it, right? Express it and share it. And so this is when I always say to people, like, if you're somebody who's going to forget this whole episode and everything that I'm saying, like hit pause right now and write yourself a little note. Write yourself a note to write a note to somebody else about your gratitude. It doesn't become real. Gratitude is just kind of like this ethereal thing that we think and we feel until we make it real. Action is the voice of the heart. Action is the voice of the heart. I think I did a whole podcast about that. And so right now I want you to make a commitment, right? To do this practice. I mean, if you want to, I'm not your mother. I'm not going to make you, right? I'm not your boss. I always say, I'm not your boss, your mother, or your babysitter. I'm not your jail warden. I can't make you do shit. Okay. But just consider, right? Taking action on this gratitude that you just felt in that act of appreciation. Write a note, send a text, make a phone call, take a physical action, a physical step to go out and express it. And I always say, move it from your head to your heart into your hands and then out into the world. You've heard me talk about this a lot before, right? Because both the giver and the receiver, we talked about this with kindness, right? Both the giver and the receiver benefit from this. Right? It's in giving that we receive. So this is the practice of leaving people. You know how I always say at the end of the show, I probably won't say it at the end of this show because I'm saying it now, but we want to leave the people, the place, the animals, the environment better than how we found it. Express your love, express your appreciation. Let people know that you're grateful for them, that they made a difference. Let them feel seen and heard and know that they matter. That what they did, a small moment where they paid attention or followed up or checked on you, right? It's so huge. This is how, like the whole heartbeat of this show, right? Spreading more love in the world through storytelling and spirituality, right? This is a beautiful practice. Gratitude is a beautiful and powerful spiritual practice. And number 4, I want to say this action, right? This, when we go into the action part, this isn't about just checking things off a list. This isn't about just rotely doing something, doing it as a routine and you just go through it. No, it's like this is really about doing stuff with reverence, being really present, right? Almost like a devotional. You want to be really present and reverent. So we're not just checking shit off. This is a new way right? If you haven't already, some of you might be old hat, you might be great at this, but for some of you, this is going to be a new way of showing up, not only for yourself, but the world around you. Okay. So we're not just checking things off a checklist. Okay. I'm going to say them again, the 4 simple steps to reaping and practicing the benefits, right, of gratitude. Number 1, awareness. Number 2, acknowledgement. Number 3, appreciation. Number 4, we got to take some action. We got to go out into the world and express it and follow up and do something. Okay. Before we go, a super fast little, you guys know that, first of all, I've been a yoga teacher for gazillion years, right? Like 25 years, I think, at this point. So I've been leading, guided relaxations, guided meditations for forever, but also I'm a hypnotist. So this is a beautiful thing. So I just want to say that if you're listening right now, please, if you are driving, right, do not do this if you are driving, if you are operating heavy machinery. This is the part where you will hit pause, right, find a cozy place. And of course, if you're on your phone, you can listen to it on your phone, but turn off your notifications so that things are just kind of like quiet, and so that you are, undisturbed. And this is a great way to start your day or to end your day. So just free yourself up from distractions or any interruptions. Okay. And then whether you like to lay down or you like to sit, just find a place that is super duper comfy and close your eyes. Okay. And then I want you to just take a nice big deep breath in through your nose, fill up your lungs, and then exhale out twice as long. All right, let your eyes be relaxed and soft. Eyes are closed. If you're watching this on YouTube, just don't look at me. Close your eyes. Again, another big, long, slow, deep breath in. And then nice, long, slow exhale out twice as long. And as you do that, just kind of feel any tension, any stress start to melt away as you gradually relax with every breath. Just nice and easy, breathing in fully and deeply, and then exhaling out. One more time. Take another long, slow, deep breath in, fill up, and then exhaling out. And just feel yourself drop into an even deeper state of relaxation. Keep breathing slowly. And then gently at the top of your head, right, you're going to feel the presence of a warm, soft, golden light. And you can just picture it, imagine it, try to envision it, see it right above the top of your head. And imagine that it's going to drop down through the crown of your head and radiate out all the way down to the tips of your toes. And as this light is moving through you, through the crown of your head, behind your eyes, down through your jaw, your throat, your shoulders, your chest, just feel your muscles relax as this light washes over you, as it surrounds you, as it protects you. Take another big breath in. Feel it moving down both your arms into your hands, down into your chest where your heart beats, down through your ribs and into your belly and your pelvic bowl. Another big breath in as you exhale, feeling this soft, warm, healing light as it moves down through your legs, your glutes, your hamstrings, down around the front of your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, into your feet. And in this safe, relaxed state, let's allow ourselves to start to reflect on all the things that you're grateful for. It might be friends or family, your loved ones. It might be the sunshine that's outside your window. It might be fresh air. It might be something kind or nice that somebody else did for you, whatever comes to mind. And as each person or each moment or each object of your gratitude appears, as they flash into your mind, I want you to visualize yourself saying thank you to each thing. So maybe you flash in your mind your dog, your pup. Maybe you have a special kitty friend, a cat that you love, or a human that you love. And as they come into your mind, you simply say thank you. As the next thing comes into your mind, I have a roof over my head. Thank you. Maybe your best friend called you yesterday and you see their face in your mind. Thank you. You know, Meister Eckhart says if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it would be enough. So visualize yourself saying thank you to each thing, each person, each animal, each furry kid that comes into your mind and into your heart. And picture this person or this place or whatever it is that you're grateful for standing in front of you. And take a moment to tell them. And it might just be one person, right? You might dedicate this to focus on one person and just tell them, even if they've already passed, even if they're dead, even if they're already on the other side, the veil between the worlds is thin. So picture them standing right in front of you and tell them how grateful you are for them and why. And try to make this vision of them, this image of them that you see, as real as you can. Try to notice the little details. Really pay attention to what is good and beautiful and holy in this moment. If you are grateful for something that you have, something that you love, try to see all its aspects, the color, the shape, the texture, the feel. Maybe it's a particular smell or the way it sounds. And just take a moment and say thank you to it. And if you're having a hard time conjuring up anything, ask your spiritual team, ask your inner teacher, ask God, ask your higher power, or your wise advocate, the most wisest part of yourself, to reveal it to you. And be patient with yourself as you do this. Just take your time. Take another big breath in, exhaling it out twice as long. And just allow this feeling of deep gratitude to exist in your body, to be in your body, to come into your body, and notice where you're feeling it. Maybe you're feeling it in your belly. Maybe you're feeling it in your heart or your throat. Maybe you imagine it or feel it behind your eyes. Wherever it is, just allow it now to expand. Enjoy the feeling, that feeling grateful and appreciative gives you. Feel it wash away any stress or fear or negativity or tension, any distress. Just allow this sweet and loving and pleasant presence of feeling wash through you and grow. And like that golden light, feel it expand even beyond you. And you can stay here in this relaxed state for as long as you'd like. But when you're ready, we can end this meditation, but don't end your gratitude. We're practicing, and every time we practice, our gratitude muscle gets stronger. So even if we're not actively doing it, we're training our brain, we're training our body to get more, to get better at giving and receiving appreciation and gratitude and love. But when you're ready, you can just take a final moment to just acknowledge with, whether you call this a little prayer or acknowledgement or an affirmation, you just say, thank you for all of the blessings that I have received. May these blessings multiply. May I continue to be aware and to pay attention to all the greatness and the goodness, the good, the beautiful, and the holy that comes my way. May I have the presence of mind to say thank you for them. And I thank you now. And so it is. Amen. And when you're ready to shift out of this more relaxed, deep state, you can just simply wiggle or waggle your toes or your fingers. You can stretch your body long or yawn or open your eyes and give yourself a few moments to adjust. But wherever you go, take this gratitude with you, this gratitude that you just felt. I know today is Thanksgiving, but whenever you're listening to this, gratitude is a year-round. It's a year-round opportunity, right? It's not just a holiday vibe. It's not just, oh, it's Thanksgiving, time to be grateful. No, we get to do this all year around. So let your gratitude become a habit. I always say, like, let it become habitual, not just aspirational. Oh, someday I'm going to do that. Yeah, no, no, no. Get in the habit of feeling grateful. This is how we start to shift our mind. We shift out of fear into more love. We are actively looking for the good, the beautiful, and the holy in others, in the world, and in ourselves. This is a powerful, powerful practice. I hope you have found it helpful in some way. And again, just thank you. I have so much gratitude and appreciation for you, for being here, for listening, for being a part of this family and community. I couldn't do it without you. I could not do it without you. Wherever you go, you guys, leave everybody and everything better than how you found it. Wherever you go, may you and your love, right, and your gratitude be a blessing. Bye.